Child Musketeer of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Thanks so much for tuning in again. Just a reminder, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the notification bell so you can get a message every time I post videos. I've got so many Broadhead videos already completed. I think I've posted about 50 or so far just this year alone. And then I've got another 15 or 20 already all completed, and the videos are uploaded and scheduled to be released each week. And then I'm doing more and more each week as well. So it's going to start being 2 a week. Don't miss any of them. Even if they're heads you're not interested in, you really can learn a lot about broadheads and bow hunting and stuff just by watching these videos. So again, please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. Please share them with your friends. I really appreciate the support. Well, today I'm going to be testing another head by Dead X Bowhunting. Dead X Bowhunting is a really cool company. It's just two brothers in Missouri that have their own machine shop and love to bow hunt. And so they've come out with some really cool stuff that they do all themselves. A little while ago, I tested their first big game broadhead they call the Big Game 3. And man, it is a beast of a broadhead. 3 blades, 0.062 inches thick and 1.8 inch cutting diameter, 300 grains. Okay, this thing did so well in my testing. I couldn't believe how well it flew that I used it on a turkey hunt, and it did very well. I took it to Florida, used it on a hog hunt, zipped it through a few hogs. Oh my gosh, the wounds, the devastation was amazing. Their theme, okay, kind of their motto at Dead X Bowhunting is make stuff dead. And that's exactly what their broadheads do. They're not trying to be extra gory or violent or anything. They're just trying to be as lethal and ethical as possible to harvest the animal as quickly as possible. And that's what we're all trying to do as bow hunters. So I really have liked this company, and they sell just from their website direct to consumer. So I have a discount code that you can use. It's LUSK5, LUSKFIVE. And anytime you order any of their big game broadheads, you can save $5 on a pack. On each pack, you can save $5. So it's not a lot, but hey, it's something. It's $5 just by typing in LUSK5. So I hope that's helpful to you. Today, I'm going to be testing their second big game broadhead they've come out with. It's called the Big Game 2. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, there's the Big Game 3. This is the Big Game 2, which is a very similar head, virtually identical in most ways, but it's 2 blades instead of 3. So we're going to zoom on in here and go through some of the design features and specifications of this Big Game 2. And then I'm going to put it to the test using all of my test regimen for 2022. And for a description of that, you can read about it in the video description right below the video and see all the tests that I do. And that's where the scores of each of the tests, the measurements and how it performs, will be there as well. Then at the end of the video, I post the cumulative grade, the cumulative score, and a score of 0 to 100, and then the corresponding grade, the Lusk grade in golden arrows, 0 to 10 golden arrows. So it's going to be pretty cool. And for that, I'm using my Bowtech CP28 for most of the shots, as well as my Bowtech SR6 for some of them. And I'm using the Bishop FOC King arrows for most of the shots as well. But for the really hard impact ones, I'm using the Bishop Fad Eliminator because they're just so durable. So let's zoom in here and check out the Big Game 2. Here's a good look at the Big Game 2. Man, this is one beastly looking broadhead right here. They've come up with a new tip for the 2-blade as compared to the one they use for the 3-blade. The tip they had for the 3-blade, the Big Game 3, had 3 edges to it to line up with the blades. This has 4, so you can line them up. You can line up the blades with a cutting edge of this really beefy, tough tip. And of course, this is all steel. The ferrule is 1-piece steel, and they use an extreme tolerance. It's to a straightness of 0.003 inches. Okay, pretty cool looking thing right there. And then it's surrounded by this this little holder that holds the blades in place. It doesn't bear the stress of any of the weight or impact or anything, but it holds it all together. And that's made out of aluminum just to save weight. But the working part of it and the impact part of it is all steel. The blades have a cutting diameter of 1.8 inches. And then the tip has a cutting diameter of 0.4 inches. So the total cut of this broadhead is 2.2 inches. Man, 1.8 inches wide like that, that's a really big hole. That's bigger than some mechanicals and a lot of mechanicals. But then you've got almost half an inch, 4/10 of an inch going the other way as well. So you're going to make a nice wide hole. In addition to that, the blades are really thick. They're 0.062 inches thick, which makes a difference obviously in durability as well as in the wound channel of the blades themselves. They're just going to make a really thick cut in things. And they're single beveled. So you can see the single bevel on there. That's going to aid in rotation as well as durability. And you know, the rotation with this tip, I would imagine the rotation is not going to be as great as some single bevel two blade heads that don't have this giant chisel tip to it. But this giant chisel tip is going to really open up a nice hole for the arrow shaft to cleanly glide through. So I think it's going to do really well penetration wise. Just a tough looking broadhead. The Big Game 3 certainly did very well in my testing. I'm eager to see how this Big Game 2 performs. $200. It penetrated 6 inches. $225. It penetrated through 58 layers. It rotated 10 degrees at 10 inches in the gel. And from the top here, you get a better look at that really wide, wicked wound channel. It's in pristine condition after being shot through the MDF 3 times. And it's still in excellent shape after 2 shots through the steel plate as well. The only thing you can see is that the tip got a little bit blunted there. It's not as pointy as it was before hitting the steel plate. And check out the holes in the steel plate. I went a little crazy just shooting this through the steel plate, okay, because I was just so impressed with the holes. You can see the S cut of a single bevel, as well as you can see how those wide, thick blades really make a nice slit to it. And you can compare it with 2 other typical single bevel holes down below it. I mean, there's just no comparison. Really impressive. Here's the head after going through the MDF 3 times, the steel plate 2 times, and then into the concrete. And as you can see, it's in just really, really good shape. The tip got slightly blunted from the steel plate, and that's just the very tip. But it still spins very well. Maybe a slight little wobble there. I suspect that's probably from the concrete that's fused to it. But really impressive durability. So what'd you think of the Big Game 2? Man, I tell you, it's another winner, okay? I didn't know how it was gonna do compared to the Big Game 3. It actually scored just a little bit higher than the Big Game 3. Really impressed with this. So listen, it's heavier. You know, that can be a drawback in some ways because you're gonna have to change your sight picture and adjust your sights accordingly. But if you're looking to boost your momentum, man, you're boosting your momentum and your penetration a lot by going to a heavier broadhead like this. And if you're wanting to increase your FOC, man, you can increase your FOC. You don't even need a different insert. You just put on this broadhead 250 grains or the Big Game 3, 300 grains, and you're going to increase your momentum, you're going to increase your FOC, and really increase the lethality of your setup. But man, this Big Game 2 is a performer. What a nice wide cut it makes. Flies incredibly well. The tolerances that they use, having their own machine shop and being, professional machinists as well as bow hunters, they do an excellent job with their machining. I really appreciate that. But there really just wasn't a weakness to this in penetration, in durability, in sharpness, edge retention, flight. It's kind of got it all. So I really do want to encourage you to check out Dead X Bowhunting and check out the Big Game 2 as well as the Big Game 3 broadheads. And if you haven't seen my videos of the Big Game 3 or even the hunts that I've gone on using the Big Game 3, check those out as well. And hopefully in the future there'll be some hunts using the Big Game 2 as well. But great job, Dead X Bowhunting. I look forward to seeing more cool stuff that you come out with.